Welcome back to Second Chance Adventures. If you are here because you are a Second Chance Adventure subscriber, thanks. This is something different. It's just me in our home kitchen. If you are here because you found my recipe or my comment about my recipe on one of the Facebook Fresh Milled Flour groups, thanks for watching. Thanks for coming. If you don't mind subscribing to our channel, that would be amazing. It really helps us out in ways that you really can't quite imagine unless you're a YouTuber. So thank you for that. Just click subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. I'm going to teach you my fresh milled flour sandwich bread in my bread machine. I'm not going to say the name right now. If you're a Zo user, you know. Fresh milled flour. It's huge, guys. It is a great way to get your body whole food, whole grain nutrition while you're eating things that you're already eating. Just stop buying them at the store because they're so bad. So I'm going to share this that me and ChatGPT came up with. There is a lot of great info on here about fresh milled flour and why it is so good for you. Okay, fresh milled flour is made by grinding whole grains right before baking. This means all the natural nutrients, vitamins, minerals, and fiber stay in your food exactly as God intended. Real grains right there. Hey, focus. There we go. Let's get to it. I'm using my kitchen scale, which was new to me. After being a lifelong baker, I always measured everything. And I did learn that, especially with milling your own flour, it really makes a difference because it has not been compacted and sitting around in a bag or a store or on a pallet or in a warehouse. So it's lighter and airy. So if you measure it with a cup, you're not getting the right measurement. So going to measure our grains, I always use my mill bucket. I put it right on my scale, turn it on so that it zeroes out. Here we go. I'm ready. Hard white wheat. I use 225 grams of hard white wheat. Another 225 grams of Khorasan, aka kamut or kamut or kamut. I don't know how you say it. I don't know how it's supposed to be said. I say Khorasan because it's the same thing and I think it's easier to say. Total. We're going to go up to 450 grams with just the hard white and the Khorasan. But we're not done. Then I also add hard red up to 540 grams. So total 540 grams of grains, and you will get 540 grams of flour. All right, 547. That is close enough. Okay, I do grind that on my Nutri-Mill Impact Mill. I have found that I absolutely love this. I have no desire to pay more for a stone mill. They're wonderful, absolutely not criticizing them. It wasn't in my budget. And I started with a Weaver stainless steel spice grinder and that worked. But it got me through about 3 months of making sure that I wanted to continue with this method for our baked goods. And I 100% sold. So I took this step one level up, which was a couple $100 more than my initial little investment. It's so worth it. This thing makes the most fine, beautiful, consistent flour. I mill it on 2 or 3. If I want to make it a little faster, I go on 3. It's still very, very fine. I don't have any issues with the texture. Sometimes, like if I'm doing tortillas, I'll usually just go ahead and put it on 2 so that it's super duper duper fine. Anyways, I love it. Now I am careful to get all of my flour out of the mill lid. And I like to make sure and get all my flour out so that it still measures correctly, accurately for our recipes. Here's our flour. There it is, from grains to flour in about 2 or 3 minutes. And you're getting all of that goodness. Okay, gonna set this aside. I have 1 3/4 cup of water. I go just below that. It seems that I tend to get a better rise and not so much of a fallen loaf with just under 1 3/4. Now that is going to vary based on your altitude, your humidity level, the warmth of your home, all of that. But even if your loaf falls, it's still delicious, so just don't care so much. I don't do anything else on the scale except for the grains. I measure everything else because it's just easier. So, to my water, very, very key ingredient, apple cider vinegar. I use with the mother. I don't know if that matters. Okay. We are doing 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. I just add it straight to the water. Then, 3 tablespoons avocado oil. I am lactose intolerant, so it's better for me to avoid butter when I can because I can eat more goodies without the tummy issues. So I have found avocado oil is perfect for me and my family. You can use olive oil. You could equally use butter. I don't think it would shift the recipe too much. So again, 3 tablespoons of your oil of choice. Just don't use something nasty like vegetable oil or canola oil. Please don't do that to your health. And I did recently see that Chosen Foods brand was the only one that actually tested pure avocado oil. Many other brands and off brands, turns out they were cutting it with junk oil, which is infuriating. If the label says avocado oil, it should be avocado oil, right? Next, you gotta make it a little bit sweet. The yeast has to have something to, I don't know the word. You need it. Anyways, I use organic pure cane sugar. You can likely use honey. Again, 3 tablespoons. Not again, first time I'm saying it. 3 tablespoons pure cane sugar. Okay, this is 2. This is 3. I believe you can use honey. I used to. It's just a little pricey. And I think that for 3 tablespoons of it in your whole entire 2-pound loaf, I think you're fine. I am mixing it just a little bit. Now I am going with 1 1/2 teaspoons of salt. I use Baja Gold sea salt. It's awesome. It's a much lighter flavor, but it gives you the same impact without the overpowering kick of salt. And it's also really, really good for you. Okay. That is everything that is going into our pan, except for our flour and our yeast. Okay. Definitely need to make sure you get all of that. That is our salt and our sugar, and it is absolutely critical. Get that all in there. Now, if you wanted to just put those in your pan after doing your liquids in the measuring cup, that might be a better option because then you don't lose any of it. I guess I started doing this with my breakfast bread for other reasons, but I'm thinking, yeah, just put it in the pan after you pour the water in there. Now it's time for our fresh milled flour. And I can't tell you how good I feel. No stomach discomfort unless I eat too much dairy. Not bloated. I eat 2 slices of my breakfast bread every day in the morning, and then I usually just have a simple protein bar at lunch. And then rolls or bread or something with our dinner. It's just so good for you that I think it provides so many good nutrients that our bodies crave and don't get elsewhere because our food system is so wrecked. So anyways, Sorry, I'll try to stop preaching and just recipe. If you needed to know, now you know. Okay, flour goes in. So very important. Next, gotta have your yeast. I use this one, or Red Star, I think, is also in my store. This is the instant yeast, ideal for rapid rise recipes. I've never used anything different. I can't tell you anything about other yeast and how you would do that differently, because this is how I do it. And that's why you're here, right? So if you do something different, great. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you did different. This is a cool measuring spoon I found on Amazon. I will link it. It says 2 teaspoons, but it's actually 2 1/4. And I love it. Because then you got 1 scoop. I do go just very, very slightly rounded top. And then you're done. Okay. Now then, my machine has these settings. I have it on basic. Wait, I literally press go. 3 hours. And there she goes. What I have started doing is after about 5 minutes, I will scrape the sides, because I did find that sometimes there's a little bit of stuff that doesn't quite mix in, it sticks to the sides. So I like to make sure and get all that goodness. Let's pop back over here in about 3 hours, and I will tell you my secret to keeping your bread soft, pliable, with a perfectly moist crumb. And that's what we all want, right? Guess what? It hasn't been 3 hours. So part of my super secret recipe plan, the reason I didn't want to just write it down and put it out there, I stop my machine before it's done at 3 hours. I turn it off, I leave it closed 3 or 4 minutes before it's finished. So very important to set yourself a timer under that 3 hour mark so you can turn off your machine, take a little peek at your beauty, and leave it alone. I let it stay in the machine off. Very important to turn it off. Don't let the keep warm. No, I don't like a thick, crunchy crust. I want a soft, delicious, supple sandwich bread. Okay, 1 hour minimum. I've left it overnight. That's how I found out this works, because I turned off my machine at like 9 o'clock. I continued working on my computer. We went to bed at 10 or 10:30. I woke up in the morning and went, our bread! And it was perfect. So this is the one thing that I have found about baking that you can actually have some freedom with, to mess up and have timing flexibility. So leave it in the machine, leave it closed. What I found happens is all that condensation from the heat, as it cools, builds up in the walls. It absorbs into your bread, so your crust is nice and soft. And then also, when you go to dump it out, your paddles don't rip your loaf apart at the bottom. It just, boop, flops out. You'll get to see that in a little bit. I'm not sure if it'll be in 4 hours or 6 hours, but for you, it'll be fast. So, aren't you lucky? So, there's the secret. You gotta see this magic. Stick around, and then I'll let you know how I store it. Coming up. Okay guys, it has been about 3 hours. I've been getting some work done, and it's time to show you how beautifully this loaf falls from the pan. It's awesome. Now, it did fall, which probably just means I had a little too much water, but I don't really care. I mean, it's nice to have a beautiful round top, but it just doesn't happen every time because of climate. But it's gonna taste great. And honestly, it's a little too tall when it's fully risen anyways. So we have one little poofy end and then a little cave end, but this pan is deep. So, and if you're watching this, you probably know that because you have this machine. But anyways, check this out. Boop. Clean. And it is oh so soft and moist. Now, I don't know, maybe you like a really crusty loaf. For me, if I'm doing that, I'm having a loaf of sourdough that I don't do because I don't have the discipline or the patience for it. But this looks beautiful. I'm going to leave it on this piece of parchment and just let it continue to cool. I usually put a plastic, like a cake dome over it. I would prefer glass, I just don't have one. No, I don't. So anyways, I just leave it until I'm ready to eat it. It's perfectly cool. It could be sliced, but I have other things to do. So I will show you how to slice it in just a second for you and probably a couple hours for me. So anyways, stick around a few more minutes, show you the finished product sliced. You can see how pliable it is. I really appreciate you watching. Don't give up yet. Please watch to the end. YouTube pays attention when people jump out early. So just let it run and do something else if you don't mind. I would appreciate it very much. And once again, I would love it if you would subscribe to our channel. It would mean a whole lot to us. And share this with your friends. You're welcome to share, click the little arrow button, copy the link to this video and share it in your other fresh milled groups if you have those. And I'm happy with it and I want other people to be happy with their bread too. So I hope you love it. I hope it works for you. And don't hesitate to comment. And let me know, if you have a tip for me or anyone else, or you disagree with something I've done, just let me know. It's fine. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what you think. And once you bake it, please come back and let me know what you think and how it worked for you. I love this slicer. It is adjustable. You can go skinny slices, you can go really thick slices, however you want it. So I'm going to show you just how easy it is to get perfectly sliced bread in a hurry. So there we have our beautiful loaf, super soft sandwich bread, absolutely pliable, super soft crumb. It is our favorite. We have 2 favorite storage boxes to show you. This is one, which I actually always put parchment in here, but I'm gonna park it in there for this second. So this one has, obviously it's clear so you can see everything. It has a little bit larger capacity than my stainless steel one. I love them both. I don't think I want 2 of one and none of the other. It has a vent. It has a little easy open thing, but it has 4 nice latches. And this one is stainless steel, which I love because it's not plastic. Plastic top, of course, but it has a little push vent that I don't use. One time I left it open and I found a gnat crawling on my bread and I was very aggravated. So I don't use it. But this is my breakfast bread that needs to be sliced. Great capacity. This is a 2-pound loaf if you're the Zojirushi machine user. So fits it perfectly. And there's room for a couple extra slices. So those are my favorites and those are my tips and tricks for the perfect fresh milled flour sandwich bread. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy it, and please let me know what your results are if you try this recipe. Thanks, bye.